Hi students, welcome to Geography Part Analysis of Civil Service Prelims 2025 paper. Now, before starting our discussion, how the paper feels to me. For me, this paper is really tough because there are too many factual questions that were being asked. Even the mapping section is really difficult. Even the grouping questions they have asked, it is not very easy to solve. Okay, so let's start with our first question. Consider the following countries. They are asking about the NATO. However, we should gain the insights since NATO is making a lot of news and this is the expected area. If the students have gone through its members, okay, then only they will be able to solve, or else no elimination is possible here. So direct factual questions. So here, how many countries are part of the NATO? So in this, it is only 4: the Bulgaria, Croatia, Sweden, North Macedonia. So these are the countries that are part of the NATO. Next, another part of the mapping question, but it is not that easy to identify through which countries this Andes mountains pass through. Though you might be aware the Andes are present in the western part of your South America, but it will be very difficult in the exam hall to identify whether this is passing through Paraguay or not, until unless if you have done properly, okay, the student have done properly the mapping section of both Andes mountains, the South America section, okay, only in that case you will be able to mark this question right. Okay, so here Brazil and Paraguay are present on the eastern section of the South America. Through rest of the countries, the Andes mountains passes through. Okay, so here the answer is Bolivia S. The Brazil does not, Andes does not pass through the Brazil. Colombia S, Ecuador S, and Paraguay S, and Venezuela also S. So the answer should be A. And then next, Equator passes through which of the following water bodies? Again, very tough question. Okay, so you need to know the locations of these maps as well, these lakes as well, and also you need to see, you need to have a clarity from where the equator is passing through. Okay, the answer is none of the above. This is not an easy question. Okay, so then next question. This is slightly easy question because turmeric board was established in the Nizamabad. So this was the direct statements that were lifted from the PIB. And since some things, when something happens in the news, we are supposed to go through those things. Okay, their cropping pattern, some important facts related to the exports and imports. Like recently, they were talking about cardamom, the spice board. Okay, they were trying to promote this cardamom. So now we need to see the cropping pattern of this cardamom and all. In the same way, when this was announced, so we are supposed to go through this thing. Okay, when the turmeric was proposed, and all the 3 statements were given in the PIB, and the answer should be D for this. It is all. Then next, again, this is easy question for me. This is the conceptual question. The conceptual question of the continental drift theory. Which of the following are the evidences of the phenomena of the continental drift theory? So which are the statements that are proving this continental drift? The belt of ancient rocks from Brazil coast matches with this from the Western Africa. That's what the theory is, right? So there is a matching, okay, matching of the South American coast and the African coast, and also all these southern land masses have similar type of the geology and fossil evidences. So your question, your statements are based on that concept, and these are the evidences basically we give to prove the continental drift theory. Okay, so all the statements are right. So the belt of the ancient rocks from Brazil coast matches with those from the Western Africa. That is true. The gold deposits of Ghana are derived from the Brazil. Basically, they do not have, Ghana does not have any kind of gold. They are deriving the gold from the Brazilian plateau when the two continents lay side by side. Then Gondwana system of sediments from India is known to have its counterparts in 6 different land masses of the southern hemisphere, which is also true. So answer should be C, all 1, 2, and 3. Okay, that is the question. And now this is a slightly doable question. The amount of dust particles in the atmosphere is more in the subtropical and the temperate areas. It's more in the subtropical and temperate areas than in the equator and the polar regions. Basically, whenever the circulation of the wind is very good, okay, there the dust particle settlement is less. In the equator area, you have the low pressure conditions, the movement and the flow of the wind systems is very good. So that's why here in the equatorial area, it should be the less. The amount of dust particles in the atmosphere is more in the subtropical and the temperate areas, which are basically having the dry winds. Okay, So this statement 1 is correct. And the same thing they have put in the second statement. Subtropical and the temperate areas have the less dry winds. No, they have more dry winds and they are also playing role in carrying these dust particles. So here the answer is statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is not correct. So it should be C. Okay. Now moving to the next question. Consider the following statements. In the January, in the northern hemisphere, the isotherms went equatorward while crossing the land masses and poleward while crossing the ocean. This is the NCERT concept. Isotherms, okay, the line joining having the same temperatures, okay, the imaginary line joining the equal temperatures. So student is supposed to solve this question because this is the NCERT concept. So this statement is absolutely true. In January, in the northern hemisphere, the isotherms bent towards the equator, okay, the whatever the cold conditions on the land is there, they are being pushed till equator. That's why there is a bending towards the equator while crossing the land masses and polewards while crossing the oceans. So that is true. In January, the air over the oceans is warmer than the over that of the land masses in the northern hemisphere. So that's the reason this kind of bending happens. So statement 1 is correct. Both the statement 1 and 2 are correct, and the statement 2 explains the statement 1. So the answer is A for this. Now next, consider the following statement. In the context of effect of the water on the rock, chalk is known as very permeable rock, whereas clay is known as quite an impermeable or least permeable rock. Okay. So they are given the statement chalk is porous and hence can absorb the water. So that is true. Next, clay is not at all porous. It is porous, but it is not permeable. Okay. So the statement 2 they have given is wrong. Okay. So the answer should be only one of the statements 2 and 3 is correct, and the explanation of the statement 1. So the answer should be C for this. Next question. This is the easy question. Consider the following statements. Without the atmosphere, temperature would be well below freezing point everywhere on the earth's surface. That's what the atmosphere is doing. When there is no atmosphere, okay, your earth's surface will no more be habitable. Okay. So that is a major statement, and that is absolutely true. And this atmosphere also has greenhouse gases. These greenhouse gases trap the terrestrial radiation. Because of this trapping, your earth has maintain some balance of temperature. Without those greenhouse gases, such thing does not exist. Heat absorbed and trapped by the atmosphere maintains our planet's average temperature. That is also true. Atmosphere's gases like carbon dioxide are particularly good at absorbing the trapping radiation. So all the statements are correct in this. So it should be 1, 2 and 3. Again, the answer is C for this. Next question. Consider the following statements. So they have given different countries and they are asking how many of the above countries have more than 4 time zones. Now, I do not know what they will consider in the UK. If they are considering UK alone as a continent, so then the answer should be only 2. Okay, Denmark and Australia. Brazil has 4 time zones. They are asking for more than 4 time zones. If they consider UK, all of its colonies and all, then definitely they have more than 4 time zones. We are not sure what they are going to consider. So it should be only 3 or only 2. Next, time zones concept. It is very simple and an easy concept. Consider the following statements. Anadir, now we don't have to know. Then now they said this is in the Siberia. Okay, so this gives us locational clarity where it is in the Siberia. And then it is in the Alaska. If you see the international dateline, on the international dateline, you see this Alaska is east and this is in the west. Okay, so but when so this is what they are saying. They are few kilometers away from each other, but when people are waking up and getting set for the breakfast in the cities, it would be different days. That is the concept of the international dateline. They are almost close, but their dates are different. Now, who is ahead and who is behind? Always the countries which are lying to the east of the dateline, they are generally behind, right? And who are in the west of the international dateline, they are ahead. And easily we can see the Siberia is west of this international dateline, and that's how your answer should be for this only 1. That is a simple question you are supposed to solve. Now this is the question again. This could be moderately difficult, I can say. Botswana, diamond, Chile, lithium, Chile, everyone should be knowing, and then Indonesia, nickel. So all the 3 is the answer for this. Then the last question. This is again difficult question. Not everyone might be knowing. The Sardinia, you might have studied in your World War two concepts. Okay, there you might be knowing about this during the times of the World War I and World War II. Italy integration and all. There you might have studied the Sardinia, Herzegovina. Okay, all these countries. So none of them are properly matched. Okay, this is for the Italy and Mallorca is for the okay. Not this all these matchings are not properly done. Okay, Normandy is not in the Spain. So none of the above. Okay, it is Mallorca is a part of the Spain. Normandy is in the France. And Sardinia is an island of the Italy. So if you have solved the easy questions, not about the difficult questions. Okay, in the difficult questions you might have tried. Even if your accuracy is comparatively low, then that is fine. The questions which are easy, that has to be solved. Only those questions makes the difference. Okay, overall, according to me, the paper is okay. Thank you. That's all for today.